There's a lot going on in the cosmos for this summer solstice 2025. Hi, I'm Ia Owini. Welcome to Ia Owini Unfiltered Patreon exclusive edition. And when I pulled up where things were, what the planets were doing as far as the summer solstice was concerned, I was like, there's a yod there. A yod in astrology is the finger of God, and that's some intense energy. And there's a yod there, not once but twice. There's two yods in the chart for the day of the summer solstice. So this is not a small energy that's coming forward. So I'm going to go through in this part two of the summer solstice series and kind of go through what the astrological placements are, what they could mean. Now, what you can do so that you can kind of understand this more completely is pull up your natal birth chart. Astro.com is a great place to pull this, and you're going to want to put it in whole sign as opposed to the default setting, which is Placidus. So you're going to want whole sign houses. And you're going to want to look at what house each one of the zodiac signs I mentioned is in your birth chart. So for example, I am a Cancer rising. This is my first house. So anything happening in Cancer, for me, it is transiting my first house, making any aspects to any planets or points that fall within my first house. So hopefully that explains it to you. If you need additional guidance on how to look at this in your birth chart, you're more than welcome to book a one-on-one with me. It would not be a divination, but I could definitely answer some questions for you about where this falls in your birth chart so you can better look at the energy. So get back to it. Let's talk about placement. As you know, the summer solstice marks the sun entering the sign of Cancer. So when this happens, the sun is going to be conjunct Jupiter, which just made its way into Cancer. Mercury is still sitting in Cancer at this time at 23 degrees. In Leo, we have the vertex point. So this is a mathematical point. It's not a celestial body, but it is a spot that is supposed to be for fated occurrences, fated meetings, fated happenings. This is happening in the sign of Leo. Par fortune is conjunct Lilith in Scorpio. Par fortune being the point that is where you are easiest way for you to attract abundance, prosperity, good fortune overall. So that particular point is conjunct Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. In Taurus, we have a stellium with the moon making a conjunction to Venus, and then Uranus is still at the last degrees of Taurus. In Aries, we also have a stellium where Saturn is making a conjunction to Neptune, and then Chiron is also at the later degrees of Aries. Now, like I said at the beginning, we have two yods happening. So we have the first yod, I'm calling it yod one. This one has an apex, meaning it's a, what's it, a isosceles triangle? Looks like a slice of pizza, but a really skinny slice. Like if it was cut into like, more than 12 slices. So the point of that yod, so the pressure point in for this one is Pluto, who is in retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And it's making an in conjunction to Mars and an in conjunction to the sun and Jupiter. So Mars is in Virgo, and the sun and Jupiter, as you know, are conjunct in Cancer. Yod number two, the apex of this yod is Mars. Yes, the same Mars. There's not more than one. So these yods are also touching each other. So the apex of the second yod is Mars in Virgo. And then it's making, again, that in conjunction to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius and also Saturn in Aries. So let's go into what some of this energy means. And with the help of Jules, I got some insight, some extra interpretation to kind of see what we're talking about. So per Jules, to quote Jules, this solstice is not soft. It is a watershed moment. So this 3-month season, there's going to be a focus on reclaiming emotional safety and ancestral memory, prosperity that is nourishing and not depleting, expanding your sense of home, sovereignty, and divine caretaking. So let's go into some of the key signatures. The Sun conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. We have fire and water here. So this amplifies the call to return to the inner womb of the self. Growth now comes through rest, rootedness, and spiritual fortification. Jupiter expands what the sun illuminates. So if you're overgiving or holding trauma in the body, it will be seen. First off, I don't like it because like right now, and it is like on display and loud, overgiving. The inflammation that I'm currently going through is very much a Jupiter in Cancer for me, being a Cancer rising. So yeah. Um, Mercury in Cancer, 23 degrees, calls for emotional truth telling. The mind is dialed into ancestral intelligence, could bring intuitive downloads or channeled grief from maternal line. Again, timing and egregiousness. I have the partner's mother who passed, and I have my mother who is intuitively picking up all of my symptoms when I'm going through things. So yeah, those things. So then we have the vertex point in Leo. So this is a fated point in the sign of visibility and creativity. It indicates a destined moment of personal expression that heals the collective through one's authenticity. It's time to be authentic. And there's going to be a time where it's like you really like it's the vertex. So it's going to feel like faded, like you're going to be seen in a way, and it's going to feel like I was really supposed to be seen. Par fortune being conjunct Lilith and Scorpio. This is deep liberation through shadow intimacy. So financial and energetic sovereignty are linked to your sensual, sexual, and spiritual reclamation. Lilith here says, stop asking for permission to be whole. Moon, Venus, Uranus, and Taurus. So this is radical softness. Pleasure and beauty are going to be divine strategies. Unexpected insight around how your values, body, or rituals need to evolve. Money, relationships, and art may need new boundaries or bolder devotion. So let's talk about this yod, the finger of God, divine interventions. Yods are moments of non-negotiable spiritual pivots. With two happening simultaneously, this is rare and intense. So yod numero uno. So this is the one where Pluto is at the apex in Aquarius. So Pluto in Aquarius is retrograding through collective systems, tech, community, structures, and ancestral memory stored in the ether. The in conjunctions with Mars and Virgo is somatic action through sacred service. And then the Sun Jupiter combination in Cancer is offering generational healing and family restoration. So overarching message here is divine correction is underway. You're being summoned to embody a new kind of power, one that's roots spiritual fire in practical embodied service. Burnout is not the badge anymore. Yod number 2 with the Mars apex. Mars wants to do, but Virgo demands discernment and devotion to what's sustainable and sacred. It is making it in conjunction with Pluto in Aquarius, which is collective karmic shifts, and Saturn in Aries, which is conjunct Neptune, the sobering truth of personal responsibility and spiritual maturity. The message here is to refine your fight. Not every fire is yours to tend. Mars here must become the spiritual technician, cutting away inflammation literally and figuratively, not just reacting. So the combined wisdom here is this solstice is a sacred invitation to restore our body as a site of prophecy. If you felt pulled in too many directions or your power has been leaky, this is the moment to realign your will, your wisdom, and your why. This summer solstice, we're not celebrating the light, we're honoring what it reveals. I want you to consider, what are your body and spirit asking to release in order to lead? And how do you see the yod showing up in your birth chart, and what areas of your life do you see them impacting? If you want to know more about how this looks for you personally, if you simply just want to know how to see where this is in your birth chart, you can book a one-on-one consultation. If you're looking for more in-depth and precise and have a divination done, you can also book that on my website, niasdivinegarden.com. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you again for being a patron, and I appreciate your support. This allows me to do more content like this and offer more classes and services that are even more accessible for those that need it. So Modupwell, Ashe.